There are seasons in life when everything seems to slow down, not because you are weaker, and not because you are lost. It is simply that the rhythm of life softens, as if the universe gently places a hand on your shoulder and quietly whispers, "Slow down for a moment." Pisces. You may have felt this very clearly lately. The days no longer rush you forward. Decisions no longer demand immediate answers. And sometimes you find yourself standing still, not moving ahead, not moving back, just quietly watching yourself, existing in a space that feels unfamiliar, yet strangely calm. Before, you tried so hard to understand where you should go, who you should become, what you should hold on to, and what you should let go of. But now, that feeling has shifted. You are no longer searching for the path. The path is slowly opening beneath your feet, piece by piece, in the gentlest way. The things that once made you anxious, that once filled your mind with worry, no longer take up the same space. In their place, there is a quiet steadiness, sometimes mixed with uncertainty but grounded, and within that steadiness, something important is present. Pisces, you may have gone through moments where letting go was unavoidable, letting go of a relationship that no longer moved at your rhythm, letting go of expectations that kept you tense for far too long, letting go of an image of yourself you once believed you had to become. These releases did not arrive with noise. They came softly, almost unnoticed. Sometimes it was just a morning when you woke up and realized you no longer wanted to hold on. You no longer wanted to explain. You no longer wanted to convince yourself to endure a little longer. And maybe you wondered if you were slowing down too much, if stopping like this meant you were falling behind. But the truth is, the deepest movements in life are never loud. They happen in silence, like a seed resting beneath the soil, unseen, yet preparing for something much greater. The slow moments, the pauses, the times you chose not to push forward, all of these are signs that you have come very close to the edge of something new. This is not random. It is not an accident that everything is unfolding this way. It is not a coincidence that you were asked to stop right now. There is a delicate design at work, one that no longer pulls you forward with fear or pressure. Instead, you are being placed in the position of an observer, invited to look back at your journey with softer eyes. You begin to see what truly exhausted you, and you begin to recognize that the fact you are still standing today is something deeply meaningful. In this moment, you may not yet see clearly what lies ahead, but something very real is changing within you, a shift that does not need confirmation, that does not need proof. It only asks that you stay present, quiet enough to listen. And in that listening, a new feeling slowly takes shape, gentle, warm, and carrying a quiet, unfamiliar trust that what comes next will not look like the past. That trust does not come from grand promises, and it does not come from any obvious sign on the outside. It comes from an inner feeling, very quiet, very deep, like standing by the ocean at dawn, knowing the tide is changing. Even though the surface of the water is still calm, there are things in life that do not need to end with goodbyes. They simply begin to drift away, like morning mist dissolving as the light slowly appears. The cycle Pisces has just moved through was exactly like that. It did not collapse. It did not shatter. It did not leave sharp fragments behind to hurt you again. It closed gently, with a sense of relief that is hard to name. An afternoon when you suddenly realized your chest no longer felt heavy when thinking about the things that once worried you. A quiet moment when you understood you no longer needed to explain yourself or push yourself any further. The things that once drained your energy began to fall away. Not because you were weak, but because you were finally strong enough to stop carrying them. Old concerns. Responsibilities that were never truly yours. Expectations you carried on behalf of others. Little by little, they started to feel unfamiliar. And within that unfamiliar space, a gap appeared. But this was not the emptiness of loss. It was the openness of release. Pisces may notice a natural sense of calm settling in, no longer feeling the urge to react immediately, no longer needing to prove that you are right or worthy. You begin choosing peace over conflict, honesty with your emotions over the need to please everyone. And through these very small choices, the old cycle quietly comes to an end. like a door closing softly behind you without making a sound. When a cycle ends in silence, it often leaves behind a rare gift: clarity. You begin to see what truly matters to you and what only existed because of habit or fear. You no longer want to hold on to what causes your spirit to tighten. You no longer want to live each day bracing yourself just to get through it. And that refusal, though gentle, is an act of deep strength. This letting go is opening a new space, a space wide enough for something else to enter, not by force, not by pressure, but through natural alignment. When you stop gripping what belongs to the past, your hands become open. And open hands, very naturally, are ready to receive what is kinder, more fitting, and lighter. You may not yet be able to name this new kind of fortune, but you can feel it drawing closer, like a breeze carrying an unfamiliar scent. Like softer light reaching corners you never noticed before. You do not need to rush. You do not need to search. Just continue allowing yourself to live more slowly, more truthfully. And trust that the lightness you feel is not an emptiness, but a gentle invitation from something quietly waiting to enter your life. And in that quiet, when you stop trying to name what is coming, something very subtle begins to take shape. It does not knock loudly. It does not arrive like a gift already wrapped. The new fortune of Pisces arrives the way dawn spreads across the water. At first, just a thin line of light, easy to miss. But if you stay with it, if you do not turn away too quickly, you begin to notice the entire space slowly changing color. What is coming to you does not feel like something being handed out. It is not as if someone is giving you something from the outside. It feels more like this. Everything you planted long ago, in your most exhausting days, in moments no one witnessed, is finally finding its way back to you. And when it returns, it does not come alone. It carries resonance. A small decision you once made by intuition now opens several doors. A conversation that seemed ordinary at the time leads to a shift far greater than the words that were spoken. Pisces may find this surprising, not because the fortune is overwhelming, but because of how simple its arrival feels. You may encounter it in an unexpected invitation, in a passing thought that makes your heart respond, in a moment when you choose honesty instead of silence. And it is these small choices that begin to multiply, like ripples spreading across a quiet lake, reaching places you never imagined they could touch. There is something very special about this period. When you stop chasing outcomes, outcomes begin to move toward you. When you stop proving your worth, your value becomes visible on its own. This new fortune does not come to test you, and it does not come to overwhelm you. It comes to walk beside you, to expand what already exists within you. The sensitivity of Pisces, once seen as weakness, now becomes a guiding compass. Your compassion, which once drained you, now connects you to opportunities that are more humane, more meaningful, and more sustainable. You may feel a clear sense of expansion, not only in your work or finances, but in how you see life itself. The things that once filled you with worry no longer take up the same space. In their place, there is trust. Trust in your own rhythm. Trust that not everything good needs to arrive in a rush. And when you trust, the current begins to move faster, in a very natural way. This fortune does not ask you to become someone else. It only asks that you stop shrinking yourself. Stop doubting what you feel. Stop questioning whether you deserve it. Because the moment you stop asking that question, the multiplication begins. One resource leads to another. A sense of ease leads to clearer decisions. A choice made at the right moment opens many more choices. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this season is that you do not need to hold on to your fortune with both hands. You only need to be present, to live in sync with your heartbeat, to listen to the quiet signals within. When you do that, what is coming will not stop at one point. It will continue to spread, to grow, like light reflecting on water, becoming clearer, becoming warmer, guiding you deeper into a journey where this time, you are no longer walking alone. And as you continue moving within that current, something unusual begins to happen. You no longer feel the need to chase after anything, or to grip tightly onto what comes your way. Instead, you begin to allow. You allow good things to move closer. You allow yourself not to doubt the moment an opportunity appears. You allow yourself to receive help, to receive care, and even to receive a compliment that you once brushed aside without a second thought. And it is in that moment of allowing that an invisible door quietly opens. Pisces has always been someone who gives. You give your emotions, your time, your attention, even the deepest parts of your inner world. But somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten that receiving is also a sacred form of balance. When you receive fully, without guilt, without feeling indebted, the universe begins to respond with abundance. Not all at once, not in overwhelming waves, but steadily, reliably, like a slow, deep breath that grounds you. At first, this response may show up as something very simple, a calmer feeling when you wake up in the morning, a decision made without endless hesitation, an evening when you realize your body is no longer carrying the same tension as before. These changes may seem small, but they are the foundation. And when the foundation is strong, something greater can finally stand upon it. What makes this cycle different is that the multiplication is not only in what you receive, but in who you become inside. When you allow yourself to receive stability, the outer world begins to reflect that same stability back to you. Your work becomes clearer. Your finances become more consistent. Your relationships carry fewer unnecessary misunderstandings. You no longer waste energy trying to resist life, because you are standing exactly where you belong. There is a deep sense of peace that Pisces is beginning to touch. Not the feeling that everything is perfect, but the feeling that you can face whatever comes without losing yourself. That peace acts like an invisible anchor, holding you steady even while the waves still move beyond you. And when you stand firmly in that place, the universe knows you are ready to receive more. You may begin to notice very subtle signs, something that seems small but opens a new direction. Support arriving at the exact moment you did not expect it. A financial opportunity appearing only after you stopped worrying so much about money. This is not random luck. This is resonance. When you are truly open to receiving, what belongs to you finds its way to you. And among all the things that begin to multiply, there is one gift more valuable than the rest. The feeling that you are on the right path. Not because someone else confirms it, not because results appear instantly, but because the constant voice of doubt inside you begins to quiet. You start to trust that what you are building, even if it moves slowly, even if it grows quietly, has meaning. That trust becomes a powerful resource. It guides you toward wiser choices. It keeps you from turning back at the first sign of resistance. When you receive one thing with genuine gratitude, the universe does not return just 2 or 3. It returns depth. It returns long-term stability. It returns the feeling of being at home within your own life. And within that peaceful space, an expansion is already waiting, an expansion you do not need to chase, because it is quietly moving toward you, bringing steadiness, bringing fullness, and a calm, unshakable trust that the road ahead, no matter how long it may be, is no longer unclear. And as that sense of stability begins to spread from within, something else becomes clearer than ever before. The way you experience the world is no longer the same. You no longer need to think for too long to know what feels right for you. No long lists of pros and cons. Just a brief moment of stillness, and you already know whether to move forward or to pause. Pisces, your intuition now feels like an underground current, quiet yet powerful, guiding you through turns that logic alone could never fully see. There may have been times when you doubted your own feelings, when you wondered if you were too sensitive, too idealistic, or too trusting. But now, those questions begin to fade, because you start to notice something. When you followed your inner sense, things rarely went in the wrong direction. The results may not have arrived immediately. The path may not have been lined with ease, but you no longer felt lost. You no longer felt as though you were fighting the current. And that is the sign of alignment. Your intuition does not come from fear. It comes from stillness, from evenings when you sit alone and become aware of your own breath, from moments when you choose silence instead of argument, from the instant you decide not to continue something, even when it looks safe on the surface. These signals are subtle, very quiet. But when you honor them, they grow clearer, like starlight reflecting on dark water, guiding you without the need for harsh illumination. In this season, there are doors you no longer feel drawn to open, not because you are afraid, but because something within you knows you no longer need to walk through them. At the same time, new directions begin to stir your heart, not with explosive excitement, but with a gentle recognition, a strange familiarity, as if you have walked this path before in a long-forgotten dream. When you choose to trust that feeling, you are not just making a decision. You are affirming that you deserve to live in alignment with who you truly are. Pisces does not need to become harder in order to succeed. You do not need to force yourself to think like everyone else. Your intuition is your gift. It shows you where your energy is nourished and where it is only taken without being returned. And when you follow that guidance, things begin to fall into place in the most natural way. The right people appear. Opportunities arise that no longer demand the sacrifice of your peace. Even major decisions feel lighter now because they no longer move against your inner voice. You may notice that you no longer seek advice from too many people, not because you are closing yourself off, but because you have opened a different door, a door that leads inward, toward trust in yourself. And when you stand there, the flow of good fortune no longer feels distant. It is not a destination. It is the path you are walking each day through small, honest choices. You move more fluidly through change now, without resistance, without rushing. When something no longer fits, you sense it early. When something is worth your energy, you know that too, even without clear evidence. And this is the quiet miracle. Each time you trust that inner guidance, life responds with agreement, as if the universe is gently nodding, confirming that you are moving in the right rhythm. In that quiet inner space where you no longer argue with yourself, a deep feeling begins to take shape. The sense that you do not need to search far for good fortune. It is moving with you through each decision made with sincerity. And as you continue forward with this trust, the road ahead not only becomes brighter, it carries a rare steadiness. A steadiness strong enough to take you farther and deeper into your own life, with an open heart and a calm, grounded knowing that you are being guided exactly as you should be. And once you become familiar with listening to your own inner rhythm, something important begins to come into focus. You no longer feel pushed to run, not after other people, not after time, not after standards you once believed were mandatory. A steady kind of slowness begins to form, like waves returning to shore, consistent, unhurried, never late. Pisces has known the exhaustion of trying to keeping up with expectations, keeping up with the pace of the world, keeping up with success stories told too fast, too brightly, until you forgot the sound of your own breathing. But now, you are no longer pulled into that spiral. You start to notice something simple and very honest. Every time you try to speed up, your heart feels heavier. And every time you allow yourself to slow down, things inside you become clearer. This new season of fortune does not ask you to strain in order to be worthy. It does not demand that you prove your value through exhaustion. It does not measure you by how much you accomplish in a short span of time. All it asks for is consistency. One grounded step. One choice made with emotional honesty. One day where you choose not to betray yourself, even if the road appears longer. There may be moments when you look around and see others moving faster, achieving more, standing in places you once dreamed of reaching. But instead of the familiar sense of lack, this time there is a different quiet, because you know that if you match their rhythm, you will lose your own. And for Pisces, losing your inner rhythm is the greatest loss of all. You are learning to trust the process, to trust that what is meant for you will not miss you, to trust that you do not need to compete or push to the front. When you walk in alignment, the path opens. When you choose honestly, the timing arrives. And when you are no longer rushing, you begin to notice what you once overlooked: small signals, quiet opportunities, connections with depth far beyond surface appearance. The stability you are building now is not false safety. It is the stability that comes from knowing what you can hold and what will drain you. You no longer agree to everything just to be accepted. You no longer force yourself to stay where your heart tightens. And each time you choose to leave quietly, life begins to rearrange its pieces with a surprising sense of fairness. There is a quiet beauty in your current pace. It does not need to impress. It does not announce itself, but it carries depth. It allows you to feel each step you take, each choice you make, and every honest choice becomes a foundation for the next one. No need to break through. No need to accelerate. Only the commitment to not turn away from your true feelings. You begin to notice that once you stop running, your energy is no longer scattered. You have more presence for what truly matters, more awareness in small moments, and from that presence, what once felt complicated begins to simplify. What does not belong to you falls away. What fits naturally moves closer. Life no longer feels chaotic. Things begin to settle into their rightful places, as if an unseen order has been waiting all along. Within this slowness, there is a deep sense of calm. The feeling that you are not being left behind. You are simply walking your own path. And as you continue forward at this pace, not faster, not slower, only aligned with your heart, life continues to respond with gentle signs. Signs reminding you that you do not need to go elsewhere to find your fortune. You are already where you need to be, and every step you take, even the quiet ones, is bringing you closer to a form of abundance that is steady, lasting, and deeply rooted. And when that rhythm begins to feel familiar, when you no longer need to ask yourself where you stand in your life, a very gentle door opens inside you. Not a door of ambition, not a door of desire. It is the door of permission. Permission to receive. Permission to step out of the role of always giving the better part away to others. Permission to trust that what is moving toward you is not random favor, but the natural result of a long journey you have already walked. Pisces has always been someone who gives before thinking of themselves. You listen, you understand, you wait, you endure, and at times you make yourself smaller so others can feel more comfortable. But now, a very gentle reminder rises from within. You do not need to sacrifice more in order to be worthy. You do not need to prove your goodness by taking the loss. Your value is not measured by how much you give away, but by who you have become after everything you have lived through. When you allow yourself to receive, you do not become selfish. You become balanced, and that balance creates a completely different flow. You begin to receive respect without having to ask for it. Support without trading away your peace. Opportunities that fit you better, arriving from places you did not expect, at moments when you are no longer waiting in anxiety. At first, you may feel a little awkward. Receiving has never been easy for those who are used to carrying so much. But let that awkwardness stay for a moment. Practice saying thank you without adding an explanation. Practice nodding instead of refusing right away. Practice trusting that if something comes to you in peace, you do not need to push it away. When you stop doubting your own worth, the outside world stops testing you in the old ways. Situations that once demanded you prove yourself begin to disappear. Relationships built on dependence lose their grip. In their place, connections rooted in respect begin to form. Spaces where you are seen as you truly are. Without performing, without hiding. At this stage, fortune does not arrive only as money or achievement, it arrives as mental lightness, as calm when making decisions, as steadiness when facing change. And from that foundation, more tangible things begin to grow. One opening leads to many possibilities. One small step creates a lasting ripple. Nothing stops at a single point. Everything continues to expand like circles of light, spreading across still water. You do not need to hold tightly to this fortune. You only need to live in alignment with it, to live with honesty shaped by experience, to live with intuition proven by time, to live at the pace that truly fits you. When you live this way, what arrives tends to stay longer. What does not belong leaves quietly without causing harm. And perhaps the greatest gift this journey offers Pisces is not abundance itself, but deep trust in yourself. Trust that you are worthy. Trust that you are not late. Trust that what is unfolding is not delay, but a very delicate preparation life has made just for you. Within that trust, you stop asking when fortune will arrive, because you can already feel it, very close, very real, in each calm breath, in each unhurried step. In every moment you allow yourself to receive the light without turning away. And as you continue forward with an open heart, the road ahead does not only grow brighter, it grows warmer, more complete, carrying a quiet promise that the good things you receive from here on will not end here, but will continue to multiply in the gentlest way.